This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It is Wednesday, Ceviche Wednesday, April 30th, and today's pod is the best one yet. This is a T-Boy.
The top 3 pop business news stories you need to know today.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, Jack. The S&P 500 is up for the 6th straight session. Not too shabby.
Main reason? Trump signed 2 executive orders giving car companies some more tariff relief.
So Wall Street is looking for the 1-week win streak. In the meantime, Jack and I found 3 fantastic stories for you. Jack, what's on today's T-Boy?
For our first story, do the words Falcon Mode or Enshittification mean anything to you?
No, they don't, Jack. I don't know what any of that means.
Because the CEO of Lyft just dropped both of those bombs in the most entertaining shareholder letter of the year.
And we read it all for you.
For our second story, the president and Amazon got in a very public fight yesterday. It dominated the news cycle.
Get this, Donald Trump called Jeff Bezos on the phone. We'll tell you the business beef.
For our third and final story, Rihanna, Dua Lipa, and Johnny Depp. Every celebrity is collecting something called Labubu dolls.
Labubu dolls. Labubu is the new Beanie Baby. But here's their growth strategy. You can't see them.
There's a Forrest Gump line that will explain that cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's so true.
But Yetis, before we hit that wonderful mix of stories.
I mean, what a mix of stories. The most fascinating, interesting mix of stories.
As someone who married into an Italian family and someone whose business partner, best friend, and co-host is half Italian.
Sì, è vero, Jack.
I could tell you that the biggest crime against humanity is overcooking pasta.
Jack, if that fettuccine isn't al dente, we are spitting it out, man.
It's a red flag.
It is.
Because every pasta has a different shape. So every pasta requires a different boil time.
If that orecchiette is undercooked, that is literally a choking hazard.
But here's the solution. The first ever pasta playlist.
Get this, Barilla, the world's biggest pasta company, just launched a playlist on Spotify.
Specifically for cooking pasta. It's a series of songs that time up with the cooking time of different pastas.
Okay, so DJ Jack, what do we got there on the pasta playlist? Like, what are you going to see?
Well, the capellini, or as you call it in your house, angel hair, Nick, that only cooks for 3 minutes. It's a quickie.
So that playlist is a single Sabrina Carpenter song.
Spaghetti, it's a little thicker.
Yes.
Takes 9 minutes to cook.
So they whipped up a 9-minute playlist of 4 Jay-Z songs.
Penne, that's a thick noodle. That requires 12 minutes boiling.
So you're going to listen to 5 Madonna songs on the Penne Pasta playlist.
When the songs are over, pour it into the colander.
And now, Jack, I believe I have cooked you my famous bucatini carbonara, have I not, my friend?
It's a 2-step process, right?
It is, because you boil the pasta, but then you fry it in the pan with the pancetta, and you know what that means.
That calls for Freebird. Leonard Skinner's 9-minute Freebird.
If you're cooking carbonara with the bucatini, play Freebird.
It turns out the secret to cooking fusilli perfectly isn't a stopwatch.
It's actually a customized 8-minute mixtape.
The new growth hack for brands is making playlists.
Bonus points if that playlist types up perfectly with using the product. Oh, one sec, Jack. It's over boiling. Oh, no! Let's hit our 3 stories.
15 years before this song, 2 boys from the Northeast met in a dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is a norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your at-list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, Lyft's CEO just published a fascinating shareholder letter, the likes of which we've never seen before.
He mentions addition bias, Falcon Mode, and Enshittification.
What is all this?
This is the CEO letter that you should read this year.
Now, Yetis, few rivalries have diverged as much as Uber versus Lyft.
Yeah, Uber and Lyft isn't Coke versus Pepsi anymore. It's like Coke versus Fanta at this point.
Because in the last 5 years, Uber stock has tripled to an all-time high, while Lyft stock is down 50%.
$5 billion company known as Lyft is still worth just one Lyft.
Just one Lyft. But Lyft got a new CEO 2 years ago named David Risher. And David is trying to give Lyft a little bit of a jump start.
He published an annual shareholder letter on the business. Now, Jamie Dimon does this. Warren Buffett does this. Typically, a shareholder letter looks like an economic diary.
But the Lyft CEO's shareholder letter this year didn't feel like a typical shareholder letter, did it, Jack?
In fact, he referenced Wicked the musical And he said that Lyft will defy gravity.
Again, this is a corporate letter the CEO is putting out, but this one from Lyft was like given main character energy. Like it was like a thought leadership remix, basically.
It was the most thought leader, like LinkedIn thirsty post I've ever seen, but we actually really enjoyed it.
We did, because he basically invented new words. He went full Merriam-Webster on the whole concept of a letter to us shareholders.
And the two words that stood out to us were Enshittification and Falcon Mode.
Okay, Jack, let's pause the pod for a second and just focus on Falcon Mode for a moment. Now, Yetis, we have told you about Founder Mode.
That's when the CEO is really hands-on with all the details.
And we've told you about Manager Mode.
That's when the CEO delegates.
But Falcon Mode, Jack?
That's a third option right in between.
Yes, it is. Consider the Falcon, besties. The Falcon bird of prey must make a 20,000-mile migration every year.
But they can't stay up in the air for all 20,000 miles, can they?
So what they do is the Falcon swoops down only for specific opportunities, just for critical needs like getting food.
So Falcon Mode at a company is when the CEO keeps a high-level, broad perspective of what's going on.
Like a falcon flying in the sky.
But then dives in occasionally to fix the critical company issues.
Like seeing a field mouse that you just gotta eat, so you swoop.
The example for Lyft was ride cancellations.
Oh, ride cancellations. This is the second top complaint at Lyft.
The first complaint is surge pricing, of course. But the second is when you've been waiting 7 minutes for your Lyft to pick you up, and then the Lyft cancels, and you have to start the whole process all over again.
Igor in the Camry, what are you doing to me, man? I'm just trying to get to the studio and record a podcast.
Now, Lyft CEO told us in the letter that the reason drivers cancel is that Lyft didn't give the driver enough information about the trip before making them accept or reject it.
After accepting the ride, the driver saw the details, but then realized it was inconvenient, so they canceled on us.
The solution is just provide the details up front. Give the driver the full picture before they click accept.
And you know what, Yetis? That single tweak in the Lyft product cut their cancellation rates by more than half.
Only 5% of rides get canceled now, compared to 14% of rides a couple years ago.
So, Falcon Mode, it may be a third way to run the business. But Jack and I think there's a more fascinating word we've got to share with you.
A word that borderline requires a bleep.
So, Jack, what's the takeaway for all our buddies over at Lyft?
The greatest risk to a great product is Enshittification.
Enshittification. Yetis, that's a new term coined by journalist Cory Doctorow. It describes when a great product starts getting bad.
When a once great product pursues bigger profits, it causes the customer experience to suffer.
Well, one reason why Enshittification happens, according to the Lyft CEO, is something called additive bias.
Additive bias is when instead of fixing a product's problems, you add a new feature and think that that will somehow make it all better.
Yeah, like instead of fixing the boarding process on an airplane, you just add boarding priority upcharges. Like that didn't fix the problem, airlines.
No, it actually made the problem worse, airlines.
Well, Lyft CEO basically acknowledged that this is an issue facing Lyft, but it's also facing all of the tech industry.
He pointed out artificial intelligence, where every chatbot suddenly gets new features, new bells and whistles. But what about like the underlying hallucination problem?
Well, Jack, the result of that bias for adding things is Enshittification. The product gets worse.
So Yetis, try out Falcon Mode to fix your additive bias and make sure to avoid Enshittification.
Yes. For our second story, Amazon was reportedly going to add a tariff fee to the checkout when you buy something from Amazon, but then the White House heard and gave them a call.
How Amazon responded says something big about Trump's first 100 days.
Now, Yetis, last week, remember, we introduced you to a concept we call the tariff fee.
A separate surcharge that we're already seeing on our receipts.
It's basically a corporate way of saying, hey, this price hike, it's not our fault. Don't blame us. Blame the trade war.
Our prediction then was that the specific term you choose for the price hike would become politicized.
Like, some companies may label the tariff fee as a Trump fee,
which implies this is Trump's fault.
Or other companies may call it the China fee,
which implies this is China's fault.
Basically, the term you choose for the tariff fee of a price hike carries some political baggage.
And that came true yesterday.
This was the big business beef. First, Puck News reported that Amazon would, quote, soon show how much Trump's tariffs are adding to the price of each product. Basically, a tariff fee.
And the White House was pissed. The press secretary said in front of all the news outlets That would be considered a hostile and political act if Amazon did that.
And then things just escalated really fast. Like President Trump literally called Jeff Bezos, billionaire founder of Amazon, on the phone.
He basically said, "What the hell? I thought you were on my side, Bezos."
And then the press secretary fired back with another point about Amazon, bringing in President Biden to the situation.
The press secretary said, "Why didn't Amazon do that when President Biden hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years?"
Now, Yetis, one way to think about this is that President Trump kind of has a phantom seat in every corporate boardroom right now.
So it was no surprise to us that 5 hours later, Amazon announced they're not planning to add tariff fees, and they never will in the future.
So, like if UPPAbaby, the stroller company, raises the price of their strollers from $900 to $1,200, they're not going to call it a $300 surcharge on Amazon.
On Amazon, the increased price must simply be an increased price. There can't be a new label separating out any kind of tariff or import fee.
And the reason Amazon's doing this, besties, is, well, from their perspective, they rely on the federal government too much right now to be on Trump's bad side.
Think about it. Trump could order the U.S. Postal Service to stop delivering Amazon packages.
Or Trump could stop letting Amazon use NASA launch pads for their space and satellite ambitions.
Or Trump could block any acquisition Amazon tries for the next 4 years.
Oh, Bezos, you want to buy TikTok? Cute kid, not happening.
It doesn't matter if these blockages are legal or not. Even if they get overturned in courts, it could cause chaos for Amazon.
So, in the past, Yetis, federal government money and federal services, they were mostly given or available to all companies as long as they didn't break the law.
In the Trump era, federal money and federal services is conditional on supporting the president's agenda.
Like we said, Trump kind of has a phantom seat in every corporate boardroom. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies who are over at Amazon?
After 100 days, no corporation has defied President Trump.
Now, Yetis, no president has used the power of the office to pressure or punish individuals, companies, or trade partners like this one has.
In geopolitics, a number of countries have pushed back against Trump, namely China, Canada, and the European Union.
In academics, Harvard University has pushed back against President Trump.
In law, most law firms cave to his demands, but some are suing him in court.
But interestingly, in corporate America, we can't find a single major example of a CEO showing resistance to anything the president has demanded of them.
CEOs have urged him in private calls and Oval Office meetings to change tariff policies.
And we know CEOs think like economists, like they don't like government involvement and they don't like trade wars.
But in public, can you think of a single major CEO who has refused or disagreed with the president on anything?
In the first 100 days of this presidency, we can't find a single one. Hey Yetis, if you're a bestie, take a sec and hit that subscribe button.
And like this video while you're at it. If you leave a comment, by the way, we'll read it.
For our third and final story, the fastest growing toy in the world right now is the Labubu doll.
Somehow scary and cute at the same time. Labubu dolls are surging right now, thanks to one sneaky tactic.
This is so good.
You can't see them.
You can't see them. But Yetis, to give you a little background on how Jack and I work for you every day, one way we source stories is Google Trends.
We track what people are searching because that's a window into your desires.
Now, interestingly, the term blind box is at an all-time high this week. More people are searching for blind boxes than ever in history.
More on that in a moment. But another top search on Google right now is Labubu. As in Labubu dolls. Not the Goo Goo dolls.
No.
Labubu dolls.
Labubu dolls, which kind of look like a Furby and a Teletubby had a baby of some kind.
This little toy is enjoying a craze like Beanie Babies mania right now.
They have snaggle teeth, bunny ears, a sneaky little grin on these Labubu dolls.
And people want them.
Yeah, they do.
They look like the animals from Where the Wild Things Are, but like they're on something too.
They're like Hello Kitty's Gen Z freaky cousin.
This product is produced by a Chinese toy maker called PopMart, and it's booming in popularity.
They're selling for $13 to $16 each, and honestly, they fit in the palm of your hand, and then you clip them onto something like a keychain.
Dua Lipa has one and wears it publicly. Rihanna has one clipped onto her Louis Vuitton bag.
And what we're saying is that the new celebrity status symbol is actually a 5-inch, $13 monster doll that you put on a handbag.
And Nick, these are selling for like $2,000 a pop on eBay right now, right?
They are, because they've used a growth hack at Labubu that the Beanie Babies would never even have the furry guts to pull off.
You can't see your Labubu doll before you buy them.
We repeat, you can't see the doll.
It's a blind drop, or what they call blind boxes.
Basically, they ship the dolls in boxes that you can't see through with no indication on the outside what is inside. This is a mystery box that you buy.
You could be buying a pink Labubu doll, a striped one, an astronaut one, a bikini one. You don't know which one you get until it arrives at your door.
Yeah, now, this distribution strategy has worked because it keeps the fans interested in buying more Labubus.
Like Forrest Gump, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, it's the life is like a box of chocolates approach to product creations.
Now, this seems like a customer unfriendly move, like not telling you what you're buying, but it's working. Labubu is a profit puppy.
Get this, Labubu's revenues hit $400 million this year. That is up 700% from last year.
I still can't get over the fact that it rhymes with the Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah. Did you see that one guy bought 12 of them and TSA noticed and at the airport they helped him see what was in the boxes?
Must have created a little scene.
Oh, I think they shut down SFO for a day because of this. So besties, despite a trade war, despite recession worries, despite these Labubu dolls being made in China, they have become the ultimate affordable splurge of the moment. So Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Labubu?
Right now, people will pay a premium for escapism.
Yeah, it is interesting observation from interviews of buyers of Labubu dolls done by the New York Times. Labubus are serving as conversation starters.
Specifically, Labubu dolls open the door to a harmless, politics-free chat.
It's like discussing sports or talking about the weather. Ask me about my Labubu doll. No one's getting worked up.
No, they're not. Everything seems supercharged with politics these days. Labubu dolls, they're not going to trigger anybody.
I mean, Jack, it's like we're buying Labubu dolls as a type of emotional juice cleanse.
In media, politics drives clicks and consumption.
But in other industries, politics is a turnoff.
Labubu dolls show how being politics-free right now can be a huge competitive advantage.
Jack, could you whip up the takeaways for us for Ceviche Wednesday?
Lyft's CEO published #thought leadership, a shareholder letter where he invented a couple new words.
So Yetis, to avoid your product getting enshittified, avoid additive bias and go into Falcon Mode.
For our second story, on a report that Amazon would add tariff fees to the checkout, the White House got mad.
Amazon relented. And after 100 days, we can't find a single major company that has refused Trump on anything.
And our third and final story, Labubu dolls are selling on eBay for 10 times the retail price. This is Beanie Babies 2.0.
Besties, ask us about our Labubu dolls because people will pay a premium for escapism.
But Yetis, this pod's not over yet. Here's what else you need to know today.
First, last week we interviewed the CEO of Duolingo and he had a wild take on AI that just got an update.
He said to us last week that in the age of AI, the artists will beat the nerds.
But yesterday, he went even further. The Duolingo CEO announced that Duolingo was going AI first.
What does that mean? Well, starting with contractors. No more contractors at Duolingo.
That's right.
They're using AI instead.
And second, on Monday, Canadians elected Mark Carney as Prime Minister, the Liberal candidate and former hockey goalie who played in the net over at Harvard.
The Conservative Party in Canada was set to win until Trump got involved in the election.
Trump's 51st state rhetoric swung the public opinion back toward the Liberal Party, it appears.
Carney's goal is to form new alliances with the European Union and other allies to replace their dependence on the U.S.
And see if the Maple Leafs can actually stay in the playoffs. And finally, the Dubai chocolate phenomenon, the viral chocolate concept we covered 2 weeks ago, just hit a whole new level.
Dubai chocolate, which includes pistachio nuts as the key ingredient, is causing a pistachio shortage.
Get this, prices for pistachios are up 40% in the last year, driven by, that's right, record pistachio demand in Dubai chocolate. Now, time for the best fact yet, which today is actually a couple of corrections Jack and I got to make to the pod.
Yesterday, we told you about the Washington Commanders and their new football stadium. Their new complex is coming to Washington, D.C. It's opening in 2030.
Although we had a little geographic oopsie, didn't we, Jack?
Yeah, we said they currently play in Virginia. That was wrong. They currently play in Maryland.
As you can tell, Jack and I have not lived in the greater Washington, D.C. area.
And our second correction is something we said yesterday about colors.
That's right. Veronica from Chicago, doing logistics, pointed out that UNC's famous blue is not called Chapel Hill blue, as we refer to it as.
It's called Carolina blue.
As you can tell, the Tar Heels fan base don't want to mess with them. Don't want to mess with them.
And I need to repeat what I said yesterday. Piper, no!
Clearly, Jack and I need some lorazepam. Yetis, you look fantastic today. One sec, Jack. You know, if you listen to our entire show today, you could cook 2 lasagnas.
Is Barilla going to add our podcast to their playlist?
I think they're going to add our podcast to the pasta playlist. You listen to our show, you can cook 2 lasagnas for a family of 4.
Wow.
Yeah, not too shabby. Pretty impressive.
It must be the the automatic lasagna, you know?
I'm going to pretend I didn't do that, Jack. Besties, the best way you can help T-Boy and grow the show is tell a buddy today, HYHTBOY.
Have you had the best one yet?
And then check out our weekly show, The Best Idea Yet, for the untold origin story of the Starbucks Frappuccino.
Side note, I just got disowned by my in-laws for saying automatic lasagna.
Let's cut his mic. We're cutting Jack's mic. Besties, if you know, you know. We'll see you tomorrow. And before we go, a happy birthday to Yeti Aubrey Kempin celebrating down in lovely Louisiana.
Happy birthday to Cindy M. in Los Angeles, California.
And Benito Maxwell Miranda gets a half birthday shout out. Celebrate the down in Charleston.
And congratulations to Don Birdsall, who's retiring after 35 years in higher ed. This CPA and doctorate holder is a proud Yeti of 5 years.
Amazing, Jack. And Kelsey Black, the legendary Yeti, interviewed by Vulture Magazine this week down in Pflugerville, Texas. Kelsey is getting the business out there, baby.
Kelsey, I came across this mention, like totally unrelated to you. I was like, I know Kelsey.
Yeah,
wow.
That's the Kelsey. That's our Yeti Kelsey. And Alicio Chavez and Jeanette Rodriguez are engaged in Hollister, California. They listen every morning together. Guys, let's see some ring pics. Congratulations on the incredible new era.
And congrats to Shelby Lohr, who just defended her dissertation in history at Princeton University.
I don't know if it works this way, but Shelby deserves an A.
I think it's pass fail. Actually, I don't know. I didn't go to Princeton.
Shelby, we give you an A.
This is Jack. I own stock of Lyft. Yeah, that's right. Lyft. Amazon too. And Nick and I both own ETFs of the S&P 500. You didn't forget to salt the water, did you?
Oh my God.